Hey there everybody, and welcome to part 5 of the upbge tutorial series where I teach you how to make a video game using the Blender game engine. In the last 4 parts, we've basically made a character that moves and jumps and respawns, but the motion is kind of dull, so I want to improve that in this tutorial. So, what we have so far, just as a reminder, is we have a cube that spawns, we can do the WASD movement, and we can jump up platforms, there's physics, and when we jump off, we respawn. Okay, so this is kind of the basics of a game. Now we just need to add more platforms, but you're going to notice that when I move, it's very, very slow. Like, the physics are correct, but, like, this game would be horrible to play. So what I want to do is I want to implement a sprinting system. So let me actually go to full screen to do that. In most games, you hold down Shift to do sprinting, so I'm going to add a if blank is pressed key. Instead of W, I'm going to make it Shift. So remember, this is a conditional that says if Shift is pressed down, then equal to 1, otherwise equal to 0. And what we want to say is, you'll see this is where our motion is. We move object locally, and we calculate the speed based on this constant, right? So if I set this to 0.3 and ran the game, it would be the same thing, but you can see it's like moving much faster. So it's almost as if it's sprinting. So what I want to do is I want to make the speed variable. It's either going to be equal to 0.1 by default, or when we're holding down Shift, it's going to be more, like we're sprinting, okay? To do that, imagine that this is actually not held down, so we're not holding Shift. In that case, what we'd want to do is we'd want to take this and add 0.01. Or was it 0.1? I cannot remember. I think it was 0.1. So by default, if this is not pressed down, we get 0 plus 0.1, which is equal to 0.1. But this doesn't change anything, right? So if I hold down, if I hold down Shift, it's going to add 1 to the movement. So it does work, but it's a bit too powerful. So what I want to do is I want to scale this. I'm going to take this conditional and multiply it by, I guess, 0.1. We can play around with this. But the way I want you to think about this is when this is pressed down or equal to 1, we have a 0.1 in this result, and we add it to 0.1 by default. So in other words, no matter what, it's going to be 0.1, and then if Shift is held down, we're going to add another 0.1. So let's see if that works. Okay, we're moving, and I hold down Shift, and it is going a bit faster, but not satisfyingly faster. So I'm going to make it 0.2, and let's try that. And you can just kind of change these mechanics until it feels right. So you can see now we have sprinting. And what you can do is you could have it be a bit fancy, where like when you're holding down Shift, maybe it's like more reactive to the rotation. But I feel like this is a good kind of system, and we can shift and jump and respawn and do all of that stuff. So very simply, with just a bit of math, we've implemented sprinting. And I think next in the series, since we've done that, maybe I want to add coins or some kind of collectible. We'll see. See you on the next part.